Hello, Oracles! What a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Tesla finished up 4.5% on the day and 10% for the week. So this is something we had been discussing as a possibility before of us, kind of getting a little bit of a rally going for the next couple of weeks. So we do have another week left of the quarter, so we do have some rebalancing going on. We discussed it this morning about how Tesla moved up to number 5 on the Russell 1000. So with the rebalancing, we were probably going to see some of this push today. So I was thinking maybe we would get to the 780 where we had a lot of options expiring. That did not happen, but we would have had to have an 11% day in order for that to happen. Either way, still an awesome day. And the entire market saw a very green day as well. The S&P was up 3%, the Nasdaq was up 3.3%, the VIX came down to 27, oil is holding steady around 108. So overall, we're seeing a lot more happiness in the market. I don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, we had a few discussions in the comments about, you have to still look at the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is there is still a war going on in Russia and Ukraine. We still do have very high oil prices. We do have very high inflation going on. Still a lot of uncertainty that's out in the market. But when we can get some opportunities like this for some wins and some green, we're going to take them because, man, it gets tough getting beat down every single day. So this is awesome to see. So I'm very glad we got to get to this point. Let me know if any of you guys are to a point where maybe you're selling out of some profitable stocks that you're in, because I know for me, I'm looking at that and I'm getting pretty close. And if we keep this rally going for another week or two, I might actually be able to get out of a couple of stocks that I've been looking to dump and free up some cash, because I do think that we are going to see another pullback. I don't know how far we're going to pull back. We have been making higher lows, which is an amazing sign. So seeing higher lows is bullish. That could mean that for Tesla, that 620 was the bottom. That's just a possibility looking at technical analysis. But we do have a very weak Q2 earnings season coming up, and Q2 earnings during the tech season is going to start right around the FOMC meeting. So going into an unknown and uncertain Q2 earnings with an unknown and uncertain FOMC meeting, what do we know is the number one thing that the market does not like? That's uncertainty. So as we're going into these uncertain times, I can almost say for certain that we are going to see some red going into these times. So we're definitely not going to see this rally continue all the way through Q2 earnings. At this point in time, with the macro environment and the situation we're in, that's not realistic. So I'm taking this opportunity right now to take any profits I can and then save up that cash. Right now we have a gap in Tesla that goes down to 650. So my guess is that over the next month or so leading up into the Q2 earnings, we're probably going to fill that gap. Now the numbers to follow are that 650 line and then down to 620. If we can hit that 650 and bounce off and come higher and not make a lower low than that, that is a very bullish sign and indicating that 620 was indeed the bottom. Chances are we won't know that we have actually hit the bottom until 3 to 6 months after we've hit the bottom. So it's really going to be a guessing game at this point. So just following the technical analysis, right now 620 for Tesla is the bottom, 650 is the next bottom. So we're starting to make that climb up. Hedwegg is telling me that we are making these higher lows and we're heading towards 923. So let's see if this is going to be reality and come to fruition. He's been right about some things before, so we'll follow that and see if 923 is a number that we get to. I don't know when we're going to get there. It might be a post-earnings leading up into the split number. So we'll say maybe August will hit this. I would love to see it. I don't know. That's a long ways to go, but that's a number that's being thrown out there. And then I do have many of you also saying that we might still pull back into the 500s. So I'm hearing less and less of that and more positive sentiment lately. So this is a good sign, and just this is great for me to be able to see all of you guys in the comments and then follow everyone on Twitter, because I can follow all of the trends of sentiment going forward. Now, when it comes to trends of sentiment, looking at analyst ratings, and Gary Black had mentioned how a lot of analysts wait till the last 2 weeks of the quarter before they make any changes when it comes to their estimates. And sure enough, here they start coming out. And we're getting Credit Suisse drop to their price target from $11.25 down to $1,000. but they may maintain an outperform rating on them. Morgan Stanley dropped their price target from 1,300 down to 1,200, but maintain an overweight rating. And for me, the ratings are really the more important part than the price targets, because price targets are going to move all around all over the place. They're citing reasons because production was down due to Shanghai, information that we're getting from Elon about Berlin and Austin having a slower ramp than expected, 4680s having a slower ramp, the $500 impairment from Bitcoin that they're going to face. So a lot of headwinds going into Q2, so they're starting to pull down their price targets. But think about it this way, if we get through Q2 and then we go into Q3 and we see a lot of bullish tailwinds coming up, like maybe 4680 has the exponential ramp, Berlin and Austin really start to exponentially ramp as well, and numbers coming out of these factories are higher than expected, then going into the end of Q3, we'll probably see price targets going back up again. So for me, it's not about the price targets, it's more about the ratings. And even a lot of the bears actually have at least neutral or outperform type ratings on the stock, despite the fact that they have a very low price target. So that's why, to me, price targets aren't as valuable as the actual ratings that these analysts put on the stocks. And for me personally, right now, I do have what I would consider an overweight rating on the stock and a $1,267 price target. I am going to take a look at some of these numbers, but for me, that was my end of the year price target, but now being realistic, it's going to be a 12-month price target. End of the year, I'm going to do some tweaking on. I've got to update my valuation model just to kind of see where we're going to be at the end of this year. And then I'm going to also factor in the split. So I'll do that adjustment so we can see a split adjusted price target. But I'm going to wait until we actually get the vote coming through on August 4th to actually determine that. So going to the split, August 4th is when we are going to have the annual shareholder meeting where all of us get to vote on whether we agree on a 3-to-1 split or not. Sounds like it's most likely going to be going through. It would be silly for it not to. And looking at, the splits that have been going on lately, Amazon had a nice little run going into their split. They did sell off afterwards. Shopify has been having a nice little run into their split. We have Google's split coming up as well. So again, I'm going to be anticipating a little bit of a run going into that one. And then as far as I know, the next big split that we see will be Tesla. Now again, we do not have an actual date as to when this is going to split. We just know that we're voting on it on August 4th. After that, I'm guessing that we're going to get the actual split date announcement very shortly after that, and probably get the split at the end of August or beginning of September. But even with all of this Tesla-specific news, I still think that the macro environment is going to weigh heavier than anything else, going probably at least through election time. So, as we've said before, most likely we are not going to see an actual bull run start until we know probably 6 months in advance of when the Fed is going to stop raising rates or potentially U-turn. So we may see a little bit of softening in their stance, maybe more dovish, come the September timeframe. And if we continue to see the oil prices coming down as they are, even as slow as it is kind of creeping its way down, we could see the same effect with the stock market reversing course and going higher. So just something I'm paying attention to, on the optimistic side of things, if oil prices are going to come down, we'll probably conversely see the stock market going up. Now we could still see the fluctuations. Again, like I said, going into Q2, we may see Tesla pull down to 650. If that's the case, that will be my signal to buy back in. I've been saving up good chunks of cash, and I haven't really been adding much, because for me, I add every day, but I do not add unless we are red. For me, I'm not going to add extra if we're going green. For me, mentally, I like to add when things are on sale. Red means sale. Think about it. For those of us who are bulls, what are bulls like? Bulls are attracted to red. So when we go red, I'm attracted to it, and I add my money. So if we keep on pulling back, I'm going to do that as my strategy. And I have been doing the math on what I need for retirement when it comes to Tesla. So I will have that video out to you guys this weekend, breaking down a lot of different scenarios and numbers. So it's all based off of my price targets, but you guys can take a look at it yourself and do the math off of what you have for price targets and figure out what you would need to retire on. And now production-wise, we have seen some very good pictures and videos over on Twitter about, all the factories pumping out a lot of vehicles going into the last 2 weeks of the quarter. So we'll see how things come out. July 2nd, which is going to be next Saturday, we will be getting the numbers for production and delivery. So we'll see how it goes. Now, production obviously is the main number right now because Tesla's got a backlog of a year of demand. So really it's how many vehicles can we pump out? And the better production numbers we see, the better we can potentially see the exponential ramp and growth in the future for Q3 and Q4. And right now, my delivery and production target for Q2 is around 252,000 vehicles. So if we come in north of that, I think that's going to be a great bullish positive sign. Analysts are starting to drop their production and delivery estimates over the next week as well. So as we get closer to the end of next week, we'll rehash all these numbers and kind of get into a close dialed up version of where do the analysts expect us to be, where do you guys think we're going to be, and where is Tesla actually going to end up. And then we can discuss all that at the end of next week. Because again, that's really going to give us a sign of where is Tesla going to go in the future. Because if we all think that they're going to come in at 252,000 or around there, and they come out with like 280,000, that means we're going to see a lot of tweaking upwards in numbers going into Q3 and Q4. Let me know what you guys think. How do you think we are going to trade over the next week going into the end of Q2? Do you think we are going to end the month strong as we did in March? Or do you think that we are going to fade off and this rally that we were on is going to be short-lived? Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, I do have a Patreon. That link is also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.